Good morning. I'm Pete Najarian on this Thursday morning. This is Market Rebellion. This is The Take. I got to tell you, yesterday there was an interesting movement that we were seeing once again in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ has been under pressure. As a matter of fact, by the end of the day, not only was the NASDAQ down over 300 points, but actually finished now beneath that 14,000 level. So something that everybody is all. Obviously, we've got great people here at Market Rebellion who are phenomenal with the charts and all. I will tell you this, sometimes just those big, broad numbers are very important to people as well. So we finished the day yesterday with the NASDAQ down over 300 points. We finished the day a little bit of a recovery off of the lows, but finished down 140 points on the Dow as well, with crude really kind of coming apart. Crude had been holding, and I've been talking about holding near that 100, 102, 103 sort of range. But now we've kind of broken underneath that level. As a matter of fact, closed last night around 97.50, and it's not doing much better today. As a matter of fact, volatility had a pretty decent range yesterday, 21 to 24 and a half, maybe a little bit more than that, but finished the day right around 22 with some nice volumes, a return of those volumes, 43.7 million contracts trading yesterday. Put a little bit of a perspective on that. We're averaging year to date a little over 42, call it 42 and a half million contracts a day. But April, now we're only a couple of days into April, but April has been very, very disappointing so far, averaging about 38 million. So about 4 million short of what we've been seeing in the first 3 months of the year. We'll see if that's something that plays out or not, or is a bigger factor. But for right now, seeing a little bit of a bump, at least yesterday, in some of those volumes. The 10-year, right around 2.6. Everybody's been talking about it. Everybody's been talking about inversions. Everybody's been talking about the Fed. We heard from Brainerd, all of that's going on, and a lot of different news sources. Obviously, the catalysts are absolutely anywhere and everywhere that you want to look, whether you're looking at inflation, Ukraine, whatever you want to look at, the Fed, however you want to frame it, there are catalysts out there. Oh, and by the way, we're just about ready to kick right back into earnings season once again. Yesterday, we had some weakness in consumer discretion, down about little over 2.5%. Technology down about 2.5%. Semiconductors down about 2%. You get the idea, and that's why we were seeing that huge pressure yesterday on the NASDAQ, a pretty significant move to the downside yesterday. There are a couple of bright spots out there. Healthcare, been talking about that a little bit more and more. As a matter of fact, for CNBC, that was my area that I thought would be the strongest in the first quarter of the year. It's done pretty well. I don't know how great it's done necessarily, but it's done pretty well. As a matter of fact, healthcare yesterday up about 1.5%. Utilities up about 2%. Gives you an idea as well that people are looking for cash flows and they're looking for safety right now. If they perceive that to be safety, I'm not sure how safe anything necessarily is at times. Tesla. It's been the barometer, continues to be the barometer. You look over at the NASDAQ, don't even look over there for the moment. Just take a look. Oh, Tesla's down 4%. You got a pretty good read on what's going on with the NASDAQ itself and Elon Musk. And obviously the big news earlier in the week about Twitter. And that was something that still is being kicked around and will probably be kicked around for quite some time. Strengths, where were they yesterday? Well, I mentioned healthcare. How about Lilly? How about Pfizer? Merck? You go through that big list. J&J. Also, even into the biotech world, you've got AbbVie, you've got AstraZeneca, you've got Regeneron, you've got a lot of different names that were contributing at least on some of the positive side of things. Amgen, another one of those. United Health, another one of those. I mentioned some of the safety area. How about Pepsi and Coke and Costco? All of those having a pretty decent day. What was under some pressure early on and continued throughout the day, names in the cruise ship industry. You look over at Carnival, you look at Norwegian, take a look at some of the gambling names, Penn, Caesars, under some pressure yesterday. Semiconductors have been under pressure, but mostly it seems like they're 2 steps down, 1 step back kind of a movement is what we've been seeing. And that's why the direction has been further and further to the downside. NVIDIA, Qualcomm, under some pressure, GM. Then you look at other names like Zscaler and Docu and Okta and all of those under pressure. Those are all those big names that we've talked about for a couple of years now. They really were under pressure again yesterday. Financials, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, not doing as well as a lot of people would be hoping for. So you start off today, we get the latest as far as jobless claims, and it is at a 50-year low, expecting about 200,000. Actually came in, I think it was like 166,000. Very, very incredible to see those numbers. But the Dow just is not wanting to participate right now. We've seen some pressure there. Down 140 early, down 230 early. down 250 right before I came on here. NASDAQ, a little bit more positive, actually got into positive territory, up about 50, 60 points, then about 30 points. Last I looked, we were very much hovering right around the flat line. So we're seeing a little bit of that, once again, a little bit of that dislocation in terms of performance. Crude, I mentioned it already, we were down towards 97. Today, we're in the 96s. So that is coming down. We have seen some activity and some movement within the energy names themselves, but that's something I'll get into in just 1 second. 10 years still around 2.6. Volatility, we're looking at it right around those 22s. We've always said anything between 20 and 25, that's that no man's land. And that makes things a lot more difficult. You get above 25, it's a little bit easier to interpret things. If you get underneath 20, much easier. But that 20 to 25 just seems to be a very, very difficult area. Gold holding itself about where it's been for a while now in those middle 1900s, 1935, 1934, right in there. Bitcoin, little bit of pressure. It's been steadily going down. Not too many trading sessions ago. It was 48,000. Now it's around 44,000. So we're seeing a little bit of that kind of pressure. As far as today, when you look at some of the big names and what's really kind of pushing things around, Conagra is one of those names under some pressure, weaker forecast than a lot of folks had expected. And then you got Warren Buffett, the Oracle. Everybody has been just shaking their head of late to see some of the moves that the Oracle has made. And once again, seems like some very, very smart moves. He's allocating huge amounts of capital into trades like Occidental and some of the others where he has done some complete takeouts as well. But in this case, it was Hewlett Packard. And a big spike today, as that was announced that he got a slightly more than 11% stake there. So when we get over to energy, we get over to some of the sectors, you're seeing some weakness just kind of push and push and push. And that's why we're seeing the Dow move the way it is. Industrials were down about 0.5%, now down over 1%. Financials are down about 0.5%, now down almost 1.5%. You get the idea. Healthcare, on the other hand, continues to be that shining star. Looking over at Merck and at Pfizer, and you're seeing some strength there. Matter of fact, the healthcare sector up about 1% before I came on here. So Hewlett Packard, that's one of the strengths. We've also got it in the ag spot where we talk about CF and Mosaic. We look at Beta Energy, and now I just was talking about oil a moment ago. Despite the fact that oil is getting a little bit of a downward push, look over at names like Marathon Oil, APA, Hess. You'll see what I'm talking about. You're seeing a really area. You've got Target, you've got Costco, and boy, the big one lately has been Walmart. Walmart's made a really nice, significant run just in the last couple of trading sessions. We have had unusual option activity in there at least 3 or 4 times over the last week or so. By the way, starting with unusual, I'm going to hit you Walmart right out of the gate right now. Trading run right about 156, 4,400 to the April 8th. So those expire Friday. So that means tomorrow. Very, very quick. But stock, the 157.5 calls with stock at 156, we get a buyer only 30 cents up to about 59 cents for those calls. Walmart's been moving, continues to move. Matter of fact, just before those hit earlier, I was trimming some of the Walmart that I had already purchased from, I think it was at the very end of March 30th. So anyway, just keep an eye on this one. It's been moving. And as I say, we're seeing some nice movement to the upside, at least the last couple of sessions. And today we're seeing some nice movement in some of these retail names. Next, healthcare, Pfizer. That's number 2. Trading right around 53. Now I see that it's already starting to move pretty fast, but 16,000 of, yes, tomorrow, once again, April 8th, the 54 calls, 11 cents up to about 25 cents. Very, very inexpensive shot. Can it make that kind of a move to 54? It's already doing it. It's already on that move. 53.15 at the time of the buyers, and now it's already trading 54. I still believe in the healthcare world, thinking that there's even more upside. I don't know what the short term is, but I think in the longer term, I still think that there's upside there. And I think a lot of people are looking for stocks where you've got great fundamentals and a return in terms of buybacks, as well as some of those dividend yields. So that's something I think that a lot of us are looking at. Those are names that I'm fairly well exposed at. Folks, I got to tell you, I will be on a double-double today. I got the noon show. I got, here we go. And the 5 o'clock show. We got Melissa Lee. There's the cook. There's my wonderful wife.
Can you smell what the loop is cooking?
Can you smell what the loopy is cooking? once again, my wonderful wife is going to be serving a lot of the guys that are doing a lot of that hard work outside, heat and all that kind of thing. Amazing how she delivers every single week. She does it. It's absolutely awesome. We got to love her to death. She just continues to do that. That's my Loopy right there. She's a queen. Love it. All right. Have a great day at trading.